Mr. White was taking a shower in the bathroom when two killers armed with battle axes broke into his house. They were the brothers of Tuco and had come to avenge their deceased brother. Listening to the sounds coming from the bathroom, the two men quietly approached the bed and waited, ready to dismember Mr. White as soon as he came out. The bald-headed guy who was keeping watch saw the situation and quickly called his boss. At this moment, only this big shot could save Mr. White. Soon, the two tough guys received a text message from their boss telling them to retreat. Although they didn't know what it meant, they had no choice but to obey the order. When Mr. White came out, the killers were long gone. It turned out that it was the big shot, Hector Salamanca, who had saved his life. After that, the boss of those two killers came to the door. His name was Gus Fring. They each controlled the drug business in different regions and had close connections with each other. In order not to affect their cooperative relationship, Gus followed Hector's instructions and told the two killers to retreat for the time being. And the reason he came this time was related to Mr. White. Since Tuco was an important figure in their group and his death was directly related to Mr. White, this man had to die. But Hector told them, "Now Mr. White and I are business partners. You can't touch him." Such an explanation made Tuco's uncle very dissatisfied. It was obvious that Hector was determined to protect Mr. White. As for how long the cooperation would last, it all depended on Hector's mood. In this way, Hector temporarily helped Mr. White out of the crisis. On the other hand, Mr. White, who had returned home, met his wife. He took out the money he had earned from making drugs, trying to save his marriage. But Skylar had made up her mind and told Mr. White that she had already slept with Ted Bennick. Mr. White stood there in a daze. He had risked his life for this family but ended up being cuckolded. He was completely confused and even looked absent-minded during class. As a result, the principal called him to the office. However, while the two were talking, Mr. White actually leaned in to kiss the principal. Goodness, this old guy was simply crazy. He thus offended the principal and was suspended for investigation. Just then, Jesse Pinkman found him. The two hadn't seen each other for a long time. When Mr. White learned that Jesse had successfully overcome his drug addiction, he was truly happy for him. Seeing that Mr. White had been fired, Jesse wanted to team up with him again and work with the big shot Hector. But Mr. White refused him and also advised Jesse to get out of this business as soon as possible. Unexpectedly, Jesse directly took out a bag of drugs. When Mr. White saw it, he flew into a rage. Jesse had actually used his formula to make such rubbish. This was something Mr. White absolutely wouldn't allow. It was simply tarnishing the reputation of the Breaking Bad chemist. The two had a big argument. Jesse said that he could still cooperate with Hector without Mr. White and then drove away in a hurry. He found Saul Goodman and asked him to help him contact the big shot Hector. Facing Mr. White's former partner, Hector naturally wouldn't refuse. Soon, he sent someone to trade with Jesse. But the other party only gave Jesse half of the cash, and the other half was for Mr. White. Jesse was confused, not knowing that this was all Hector's doing on purpose. Soon, Mr. White received the other half of the cash, and he was stunned. Hector's intention was obvious. He didn't want Mr. White to leave this circle. Faced with the olive branch extended by the big shot, what choice would Mr. White make?